Hey guys, it's Nick, and today I'm going to talk about how a writer from the Detroit Free Press talked about Chelios on an article on how he's displeased with Chris Chelios taking a job with the Chicago Blackhawks. Really, Chelios is just taking an ambassador role in Chicago, which isn't much of a job. All it is, it's basically showing up to games, signing a few autographs, and teaching the sport to fans if that don't really know it, and being probably at the Blackhawk conventions. Well, at the beginning of this article it says, "Really, Chelly?" And then it continues, "I don't own a Detroit Red Wings sweater." It's a jersey. Just call it a jersey now. But I feel like buying my first one today. A Chris Chelios number 24 Detroit Red Wings sweater. Again, call it a jersey. It's easier that way because they are jerseys, not sweaters. Just so I can burn it, preferably during lunchtime in front of Chelly's Chili Bar, Chelios' restaurant in Detroit. To continue, he had the idea that eventually Chelios would take a job in Chicago, but not 4 days after Chelios announced he will be leaving Detroit to join the Blackhawks no, my bad. To join his family in Chicago, where he grew up. He grew up in Chicago. He's a Chicago boy. He continued saying that he expected Chelios to take a job with the Blackhawks, but not 4 days after announcing that he's going to leave Detroit to be with his family. All he's doing is being an ambassador with the Blackhawks, which is no problem. Most athletes who grew up in the towns they end up playing for turn out to be that team's ambassador, one of the ambassadors of that team. I would even consider Olczyk's an ambassador to the Blackhawks because he's a broadcaster with the Hawks, and he does a lot with the Blackhawks. To continue, and it even stated that Chelios really did not want to join Detroit in '99 when he ended up getting traded. The reason why he got moved to Detroit from Chicago was the factor that Dollar Bill Wirtz wouldn't pay him what Chelios deserved at that time, because Dollar Bill Wirtz didn't pay anyone what he thought what players thought they deserved. So he got moved to Detroit, and him being a Chicago boy, he didn't really think it would work because he's going to a city that Chicago is known to hate in sports. The Blackhawks and Red Wings used to hate each other. I don't consider it a rivalry much anymore today because they aren't in the same conference, but I still somewhat hate Detroit. The Bears and Lions. So, sports rivalries in Chicago and Detroit both are known for hating each other. I get that. This guy's just mad that he's just coming back to the team that he used to play for to become an ambassador to the team. It continued with where is it? I'm also on the article, I'm sorry. It continued on how Chelios was a player that was good to go to for interviews, because when he was with the Blackhawks, the NHL went through a lockout, and Chelios was a player that was very loud and told the media that how Bettman sucks, basically. I'm not going to quote what Chelios said because it was a long quote, and I'm just paraphrasing. And at the end of the article, he said he wishes Chelios luck with being back in Chicago, but he said Blackhawks stink. Well, I'm sorry, dude. The rivalry's it's basically dead because the two teams only play each other 2 times a year. And the Blackhawks aren't a good team right now either. Detroit's not a good team, so let it go, to be honest. Chelios is just returning, really he's returning more to be in Chicago to be with his family than he is to be back with the Blackhawks and as an ambassador. Ambassadors don't do much, I already said that, so leave your comment down below on what's your thoughts on Chris Chelios coming to Chicago and announcing he will be a ambassador with the Blackhawks 4 days after he left Detroit. And please make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. But most of all, let's go Hawks!